Good morning, everyone. Let us now invite Shri Jairam Ramesh, Member of Parliament, Professor Celestina Obuah, Vice Chancellor, Mbarara University, and Dr. Balakrishna Pishupati, Vice Chancellor, TDU, onto the dais. We welcome them with a bouquet. We are all gathered here for the inaugural lecture marking the beginning of the academic year at the Institute of Transdisciplinary Health Sciences and Technology, TDU. Today is very special for the university, with the morning shining faces of its first batch of students joining the TDU family. The inaugural lecture will be the first of the several such exciting events specially designed for our students in the days to come. Our students have a rare opportunity to set the benchmark for the years ahead, and we at TDU have made a promise to prepare them with an uncommon advantage by delivering cutting-edge programs focusing on futuristic trends. What makes TDU a first of its kind in India is to have a transdisciplinary approach to education, combining subjects related to natural and social sciences, arts, economics, engineering, management, law, and fine arts. All programs are designed and delivered by faculty who have a track record of research and application beyond the margins of classroom teaching. The faculty consists of eminent professionals drawn from a range of organizations, including reputed research centers, the United Nations agencies, universities, non-governmental organizations, and industry. Every university is built on the foundation of visionary leadership. And our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Balakrishna Pishupati, brings with him close to 3 decades of local, national, regional, and global experience focusing on conservation and development, and has been actively involved in building institutions and programs since 1991. He has held various leadership positions in the realm of international law and policy, including the Chief of Biodiversity and Multilateral Environment Agreements at United Nations Environment Program in Kenya, the Coordinator of Biodiplomacy Program at United Nations University in Japan, Senior Policy Fellow at Fridtjof Nansen Institute in Norway, Head of the Asia Program for International Union for Conservation of Nature, and the Chairman of the National Biodiversity Authority, Government of India. He holds a PhD in genetics with specialization in plant biotechnology. To deliver the welcome remarks, let us invite our dearest Vice Chancellor, Dr. Balakrishna Pishupati.
Honorable Sri Jairam Ramesh, Member of Parliament, Government of India, Professor Celestina Obuah, the Vice Chancellor of Mbarara University, Uganda, Dr. Darshan Shankar, the architect, the brain behind not just the university, but also the organization which actually laid the foundation for us to convene here, the Foundation for Revitalization of Local Health Traditions. Very dear colleagues from the partner institutions, directors of various institutions who are here, colleagues from Mbarara University who had come here not only to have a ceremonial signing of the Memorandum of Understanding today, but also to have a longer discussion in terms of initiating a series of programs in collaboration with the Transdisciplinary University, colleagues from TDU, and the most important audience for today, the students. Students who joined the Transdisciplinary University, but also students from various schools and colleges in Bangalore. Parents, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the media. It's an exciting day. You know, any one of us definitely would remember the first day of our colleges or the universities. It's just not only we are excited that we are entering into a new organization, a new premises, but it is also a kind of an aspiration we have in terms of stepping into a new dimension in terms of our lives. So not only as students you are excited to be on campus today, but all of us here are excited because we've been waiting very patiently for the last several years for this day to happen. TDU was enacted in 2013 as a state legislated university in Karnataka. We've had a range of research programs, PhD scholars who are with us since then. But today is a very special day when we are actually marking the first set of academic programs for undergraduate and postgraduate courses. So let me first congratulate the students who actually have made a decision not just to join TDU, but to be a part of a very differential journey. Sachin was mentioning about a set of uncommon opportunities. All of us look for such uncommon opportunities. And today, if you take education, both as a kind of a profession, and today I would say education is also a kind of industry and a business in India. I mean, you say having hundreds of universities out there. A lot of us want to innovate, a lot of us want to be a part of the innovation, and all of us want those opportunities which actually are very differential. So not a day goes without us reading about how we have to reskill, how we have to equip ourselves, whether you're a student or a professional. Today we are in a situation where continuous learning is something which is very important. And that's why we have actually used the tagline for TDU as learning for life. We are all students here, but we are at different stages of learning different things in our lives. And today is a very important day, not just for us to start the academic programs, but actually a beginning of a long journey that we are seeing for ourselves, not as TDU, but also our partners joining this particular race along with us. And when I actually was discussing with Mr. Sam Pitroda and Dr. Darshan Shankar, who actually were the people who were the brains behind identifying not just the mandate for the university, but how the university should be structured and how what differentiation the university could make. One of the key elements that we discussed was that what kind of a university we should actually be looking for. We have universities with thousands of crores of endowments. We have universities which are actually having more than 160, if you take the second university, the Mumbai University, 160 years, the celebrations were held last year. So we actually are a new university amidst a set of traditional universities, a set of innovative universities, a set of private universities, and the space actually out there is quite crowded. And it's always very difficult when you're entering a space with a lot of people who are already doing innovations. So we thought for ourselves, what could be fundamental innovations that we can bring in for TDU? And we thought of the following innovations. First, we want this to be a federated university. A university that actually is not looking at having on roles a large number of faculty who bring in a little bit of an expertise. But our interest was actually to bring in that expertise from various institutions and individuals, not only in Bangalore, in Karnataka, in India, but also globally. And because it actually was something which all of us believe and have actually taken it as a mandate for the university, today perhaps I would not say that it is the only university, but it's perhaps one of the very few universities in the country that can actually say where it has at least 3 current and former ministers of environment, climate change and forests who are adjunct professors. And perhaps we can say as the one university which has signed an umbrella agreement already with the United Nations Environment Programme, but also in the offing another 2 such partnerships with UN agencies. We actually have partnerships with more than a dozen institutions, universities and NGOs, including agencies like the Luke Hoffman Institute, which many of you probably working in the area of conservation would recognize as the main research element or arm of the World Wildlife Fund, WWF. So we have partnership with a large number of such kinds of institutions, where we are not only bringing them for the sake of signing an MOU and having a photo opportunity, but we have colleagues from these institutions who are not just joining us to offer a course, but who have been a part of our journey in the last 6 months of designing the course as well. And that to me is actually the differentiation that TDU is trying to bring in, that federated structure. And today we are going to view or witness 2 very important MOUs we are signing, one with University of Addis Ababa based in Ethiopia and Mbarara University based in Uganda. So the idea behind these MOUs is that we actually are not only equipping ourselves in terms of having a larger partnership, but we are also trying to pass on that network and that kind of a set of knowledge and expertise to our students. The second innovation we thought we should be doing is that we actually intentionally have looked at our course structure and design, where we would like to move away from the traditional way of teaching, doing sort of examinations and dealing with project work. Of course, you can't do away with it because we are governed by the norms and requirements of the University Grants Commission. But the way we actually have structured our courses was is that it's a lot of self-learning and peer-to-peer learning. And all of us understand that when it comes to learning, not just as a student, but even for a lot of us, the peer-to-peer learning and self-learning is something which is much more impactful than hearing a few lectures and going away and trying to reflect on what we heard. And that is why one of the things that we have made actually a conscious decision is that the faculty we've recruited, we actually are going through with them a kind of an unlearning and a relearning process, where we want the faculty not to be mere teachers, but we want them to be mentors. So that's the kind of a second differential that we are trying to make. And the third differential is that if you look at the courses that we are offering, it's actually quite new to a certain extent, both in terms of the overall focus of these courses as well as the elements and content of these courses as well. We are offering a master's degree in science communication. We have a master's degree in Ayurveda biology. We are offering a master's and an undergraduate course in conservation futures. We have an integrated master's and master's program in dealing with data science, computer science, health informatics, Internet of Things combined. We have a master's course in herbal quality assurance and regulatory affairs. So essentially, I'm just giving you a gist of the ideas that we've been working on, where our intent is not to basically emulate what other universities are doing much better in terms of offering traditional courses. But our intent is that where, as transdisciplinary university, we bring in that element of innovation, that element of transdisciplinarity, right from the time go in terms of designing the courses as well as offering the course. So in that context, it's been a very important day in the history of TDU. In terms of launching the academic programs. We did actually have a formal launch on the 4th of May, which is exactly 3-4 months ago. But today we actually are launching the academic programs. And many times when you think of the first day of any university, normally it's the registrar or vice chancellor who will address the students and say that this is university, these are the do's and don'ts, and this is what we would like all of you to achieve in life. But we thought we actually should make a little bit of another differential there, where we actually brought in 2 colleagues. We should have had another colleague who actually is the adjunct professor at the university, but currently the Minister, Honorable Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change of Ethiopia. He actually traveled to Delhi to be with us here today, but unfortunately he got very sick and could not travel to Bangalore and has to travel back to Addis. So we'll definitely miss him today. He is to actually provide an opportunity for our student to listen to these stalwarts, these experts in their own making, in terms of what is that they actually have gone through in their lives in achieving what they could achieve and be where they are, but also to provide us with a bit of a perspective in terms of where we would like to go. So I'm very, very grateful to Mr. Jairam Ramesh. He doesn't need any introduction, but personally for me, he's been one individual who heavily influenced me to make a decision of coming back to India. I was one of those who, I wouldn't say ran away from India, but who actually relocated out of India for a long time. But he actually was the one who convinced me to head back. And second one, of course, was both Dr. Darshan Shankar and Sam Petruda in terms of getting that second entry. I was here for a short time between 2011 and 2014, went back to the UN, but then I'm back here. So I'm very grateful to Mr. Jairam Ramesh for agreeing to be providing or giving the first lecture, not just for the benefit of our students, but for all of us. And also to Professor Celestino Abuya. Of course, we'll have a formal introduction to Professor Abuya here. He's a Vice Chancellor of the Mbarara University. So definitely his experience, his expertise, and his outlook in terms of higher education, not only in the context of Uganda, but also globally in terms of our changing dynamic and changing positioning of our students in terms of making a career that is just not based on degrees, but that is based on actual learning and skilling, is something which I hope will inspire us. So with those few words, thank you very much for being with us. And certainly I'd like all of you to be a part of this journey that we are making, or we are beginning today, and certainly would like to thank all of you for joining us today. Sachin.
Our chief guest today is an economist, politician, and a writer who is immensely influential in shaping the intellectual terrains of India. We know Sri Jairam Ramesh as the Member of Parliament from the Indian National Congress representing Andhra Pradesh in the Rajya Sabha since June 2004. From 2009 to 2011, he served as a Minister of State with independent charge at the Ministry of Environment and Forests in the UPA government. In July 2011, he was appointed Minister of Rural Development with the additional charge of the new Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation. In the first UPA government, he was the Minister of State for Commerce and Industry and the Minister of State for Power. In his variegated career, he has performed multiple roles that include an assignment at the World Bank in 1978, 2 stints as Planning Commission advisor, an officer on special duty during the VP Singh government, and as an official in the Finance Ministry headed by Dr. Manmohan Singh in the 1990s. He graduated from IIT Mumbai with a BTech in Mechanical Engineering and further received a Master of Science in Public Policy and Management from the Carnegie Mellon University, USA. Referring to his own pen name, let us invite our chief guest, the Kautilya of Indian polity, Shri Jairam Ramesh.
Good morning, our distinguished guests from Uganda, Vice Chancellor Dr. Balakrishna Pishupati, my friend of 30 years standing, whom I first met in September of 1987, almost exactly 30 years ago. And I thought he was a crazy man. He had a lot of hair then, and I thought he was chasing some sort of a mirage. But I'm so glad that 30 years later, his dream has been converted into a reality. And I want to congratulate Darshan Shankar. I want to congratulate Darshan Shankar for his achievement. As 30 years ago, I was much younger and therefore more skeptical of what Darshan was doing. Now that I am much older and much wiser, I think he is on the right track. And what he has done is to create a center for value, which is now being converted into an educational institution in the hope of creating a whole new generation of scholars, entrepreneurs, activists in the field of traditional health, traditional medicine, and hopefully in other related areas of ecological science as well. And I'm also very glad that, sorry to hear about the illness of the guests from Ethiopia, but I'm very glad that we have a very strong academic team from Uganda, which is going to tie up with the TDU today. One of the responsibilities I have, incidentally, young man, you must update your Google biodata. I don't represent Andhra Pradesh anymore, I represent Karnataka. So, you know, so it is blasphemy for you to call me a member of parliament from Andhra in a program in Bangalore. So, should do your homework a little better next time. One of the responsibilities I have as member of parliament is that I'm a member of the Standing Committee on Health. And for the last 3 years, actually, I've been exposed to various aspects of India's public health system. And one of the ministries that we cover, of course, is the Ministry of Ayush, Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, and Homeopathy. And there is no doubt that in the last 25 years, India has made very significant economic progress. Very significant. I mean, India has been transformed in terms of infrastructure. India has been transformed in terms of consumption. India has been certainly transformed in terms of aspiration. But unfortunately, there are certain areas in India which remain as they were 25 years ago or 30 years ago. And in fact, in many parts of the country, they have become even worse. And public health is certainly one such area. We are one of the very few countries in the world, perhaps the only major country in the world, where private spending on health far exceeds public spending on health. In fact, 70% of all spending in India on health is private expenditure. And only 30% is public expenditure. And as a proportion of national income, as proportion of GDP, our total expenditure is just about 2% of GDP, which is abysmal compared to our requirements. It also turns out that one of the main factors behind rural indebtedness is expenditure on health. It also turns out that one of the main consequences of environmental degradation and environmental pollution is expenditure on public health. So from every point of view, public health must occupy a pride of place in the country's economic policy. We are beginning to see that. We are beginning to see education, health, sanitation, nutrition. These are all part of the same constellation of concerns, and we are beginning to see that over the last few years, but we have a very long way to go. We have huge differences between urban health and rural health. We have huge differences between areas in India, particularly in central India, the tribal areas of India, where our health indicators are very, very poor, and other parts of the country where the health indicators are very good, and health facilities, particularly tertiary health facilities, approximate to those found in the developed countries. So I think what the TDU stands for is, of course, a non-traditional approach to health systems planning, because we are all used to modern systems of medicine, but here we have an area, we have a set of people and experts and professionals who are looking at health from a slightly different point of view, and who are asking the question, how can local traditions, how can age-long cultural practices help in alleviating the public health concerns, whether it's mortality or morbidity. Now, this name of the university is somewhat unusual, and I want to say a few words on this. TDU, Transdisciplinary University. When I was growing up and when I was studying, the buzzwords were interdisciplinary, and then it became multidisciplinary, and now this is the third stage, which is transdisciplinary. Now, what does transdisciplinary mean? All those youngsters who are going to be joining today, right? They're coming and joining TDU today. What does transdisciplinary mean? And how is it different from interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary? I think it's very important for you to appreciate and be sensitive to this. And particularly to the parents of the children who are coming, because the biggest bottleneck to education in our country are not students, they are parents. Because it's the parents who drive the children into streams of education, whether it's medical or whether it's engineering, or of course no parent wants the child to go into humanities and social sciences. Everybody wants their children to go into medicine or engineering. So it's also important for the parents to understand what is this unique species called TDU. And to me, what it signifies is that in today's complex world, where problems are interconnected with each other, a transdisciplinary approach really means bringing the power of knowledge across disciplines to bear on the solution of problems. The challenge in being transdisciplinary does not mean you're not anchored in any discipline. You have to be anchored in some discipline. You have to be anchored in economics, in social science, in medicine, engineering, whatever, computers. But being anchored in that discipline should not make you a prisoner of that discipline. Unfortunately, modern professionalism makes you prisoners of that discipline. I can tell you, I've done engineering, and I was taught to be a prisoner of engineering. I've done management, I've been taught to be a prisoner of management. I did economics, and I was taught to be a prisoner of economics. Modern professionalism is the essence of modern professional education, is extreme specialization and narrow focus. And we have now found, to our experience, that problems of society, problems of complex social systems go beyond engineering solutions, go beyond economics, go beyond social sciences, go beyond management, and they really call for disciplines, cutting across disciplines, and it calls for a different intellectual approach. And I think that's, if I get it right, that's what the definition, the essence of the TDU is. That you give students a grounding in one discipline, as the case may be, but you give them the tools, you give them the knowledge, you give them the expertise to cut across disciplines, to break down barriers, and really look at complex systems from different points of view. Whether it's economics, whether it's social science, whether it's engineering, whether it's health, whether it's education, and so on. So it's a new approach, and I think I wouldn't like to use the word associated with health. When you do something new in health, you're called guinea pigs. So I won't say that you are guinea pigs, but you are early trailblazers. You are coming into an area which is still virgin territory. You're coming into an area which is yet to be widely accepted in the market. But I have no doubt in my mind that as a critical mass of professionals trained in what is called transdisciplinary sciences emerges, then the market itself will begin to see value in this. Some of the most successful professional programs in India are programs not recognized by the government of India, because the market recognizes them. The Indian School of Business in Hyderabad, one of the most successful management schools, not recognized by the government of India, but is one of the most sought after schools for study as well as for employment. Many such areas that I can think of in electronics, IT education, many institutions not recognized by the government of India, but the market recognizes them. NASSCOM recognizes them. The IT industry recognizes them. So it's not sufficient. I don't think that it's absolutely imperative or incumbent to get official recognition. If it comes, it comes. But what is more important is to add value in the market, and the market begins to see the value of young men and women who are coming trained in a specialized set of skills, in specialized knowledge, and they bring to the table what economists don't bring, what management experts don't bring, what engineers don't bring. They bring the ability to synthesize, the ability to cut across, and the ability to draw upon different areas of knowledge and really look for solutions. Of course, your primary focus is health, and there is no system as complex as the health system. You have medical determinants of health, you have economic determinants of health, you have social determinants of health, you have environmental determinants of health, and therefore health is a good area to begin this experiment in new learning, new education, which all of you have embarked on. I congratulate all of you for the courage that you have demonstrated to be part of this unique experiment, and I have no doubt in my mind that in the next couple of years this would set the trend, and the transdisciplinary approach would not be just part of the transdisciplinary university, but the transdisciplinary approach will get embedded in our conventional educational institutions like the IITs and the IIMs and the engineering colleges and social science institutes and so on and so forth. So I congratulate Darshan Shankar, I congratulate Mr. Petroda, who is not here, the Chancellor, and I congratulate, of course, Dr. Pishupati, whom I have known for over a decade, for this initiative, for bringing to this initiative passion, for bringing to this initiative vision, and I have no doubt in my mind that this is going to be an area in which there will be a lot of public focus and public attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jairam Ramesh, and I stand corrected on your constituency. Now, education is always a two-way street, and this makes the presence of Professor Celestino Obua special because it emphasizes the commitment of TDU for symbiotic partnership with other institutions and universities. Professor Obua is a physician, pharmacologist, academic, and an administrator who is serving as the Vice Chancellor of Mbarara University of Science and Technology in Uganda since October 2014. Prior to that, he served as a Deputy Principal of Makerere University College of Health Sciences, the oldest and largest public university in Uganda. He has served as lecturer, senior lecturer, and associate professor at Makerere University. He holds a degree of Doctor of Medicine from the University of Dar es Salaam. He also holds the degree of Master of Science in Pharmacology obtained from Makerere University and PhD from Karolinska University. Let's have a huge round of applause for Professor Obua, who have come from miles away to bless our university.
Honorable Minister and Member of Parliament for Karnataka, Karnataka's my colleague, Vice Chancellor Dr. Balakrishna, Dr. Shankar, the founding, I'm told you are the founding member and the founding brains behind the establishment we are in today. All the dignitaries here, ladies and gentlemen, allow me just briefly to introduce, before I embark on a brief talk about why we are here, allow me to introduce my colleagues with whom I came with from Mbarara University of Science and Technology in Uganda. Mr. Lawrence Park Msisi Mujuni, who is my colleague in the management of the university. He is the finance and administrative officer, whom we refer to as the university secretary. And then I've come with Dr. Kasim Umbatolo from the Faculty of Science. He has a biology background, and he is the team leader for the Farm Biotrack, with whom we want to share and partner with TDU. And then I've also come with Dr. Patrick Ogwang Engeo, who is the head of Department of Pharmacy. He holds a bachelor degree in pharmacy, a master's in pharmacology, and a PhD in pharmacology. And I'm proud that I have been his mentor, as well as his lecturer through the years. And I dragged him from wherever he was in the Ministry of Health, and I told him, let's go to Mbarara. And so we moved together at the same time to Mbarara University of Science and Technology. Ladies and gentlemen, Mbarara University of Science and Technology is in the southwestern part of Uganda. It's about 280 kilometers from Kampala. Most of you might know where Kampala is, and you may never have heard of a small town called Mbarara town. Mbarara is spelled with MB. So the M is a bit silent, so that's why we pronounce it Mbarara. We are the second public university in Uganda. All of you, or most of you, may have heard of Makerere University. So Makerere has been in existence now for almost 100 years. Mbarara is about 28 years. By standards of universities, we call ourselves a young university. And the reason that we are here today, for which we are greatly honored and very pleased that you accepted our request to come here to learn from you, to partner with you and collaborate with you, is the fact that we recognize that we are all growing. In the world of today, you no longer build a plane in a hangar. You build the main body that is going to hold the passengers and the pilot, and you throw it in the air. And then you begin to put the wings, you put the legs for landing, you put the radar for directing it. By the time you're landing, you've pieced this plane. That is constructive development. It's not possible to develop everything in one sitting. Development is a journey. For us in academia, this is a journey that we have embarked on. It's a journey that we cannot do alone. It's a journey that requires partnerships and collaborations. In academia today, we believe in internationalization of academics. Internationalization means the moving beyond the boundary of your academic wall, the boundary of your institution. You want to learn what others do in the same area, what others do in other areas where you may not have any clue about it. By coming here, there is a lot already that we have learned. We have learned that you started your institution and you started from the top. You started by training PhDs. Most universities start with the small, they start with undergraduate programs, diplomas, undergraduates, then slowly you transition into a master's program, and then the PhD program comes as a last thing after several years of existence. You started from the top. And that's exactly why we are saying there is a synergy that we are looking for. We started from the bottom. We started with the Faculty of Medicine. Mbara University, for a number of years, started with the Faculty of Medicine. We today have 7 faculties and 1 Institute for Tropical Management and Conservation. The faculties are various disciplines. And here, you have your institution aptly named Transdisciplinary University. That is what we want to emulate. We have the Faculty of Medicine, Faculty of Science, Faculty of Computer and Informatics, Faculty of Management Sciences, Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies. Now, interdisciplinary studies, why would we have a Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies? Now we have learned, on going back, probably we are going to say, are you sure it is just interdisciplinary studies or is it transdisciplinary studies that we are interested in? But we have gone that distance. There is something we believe that you cannot do alone within your confines. There is something we believe that you can only achieve when you get to know what is my neighbor doing. What am I doing towards contributing for my neighbor's success? What is it that my neighbor is doing for my success? And this is why we have this in place, this Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies. Our university is a university of science and technology. But we believe that, and it is in our mission statement, that the science and technology should contribute towards the economic development of the community. If we sit in the lecture rooms and teach the sciences, the physics, the chemistry, the biology, the pharmacy, the pharmacology, and so on, how does the community benefit from us as an institution? How are we contributing to the economic development of the nation? And this is why we put in place this Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies. We thought we needed a unit in the university that helps us to translate the taught sciences into practice in the community. And that is what we are doing now. We are agricultural. The people around us are doing animal husbandry, farming, and so on. We learn the sciences. We would like them to practice the sciences. And that is what we do in this faculty. We have a new Faculty of Applied Sciences in which we are venturing into petroleum engineering, biomedical engineering, electrical and electronics engineering. Why petroleum engineering? Uganda thinks it is going to be one of the petroleum countries because we have discovered some oil. And so it needs to be homegrown as opposed to have people from outside come to show us. Humanity, as we are seated in this room today, is uniquely aligned with the ecosystems in our environment. We cannot do without the plants around us. Those of you who believe in the Bible of creation, you believe that God created the earth, then created the waters and the sea and the land, and then put their plants, and then eventually put us as human, and say, live on this land, eat of it that grows from the land. And what was largely growing from the lands, if not plants and vegetation? It served as food, but it also served as medicine. The largest factory that manufactures medicines is not your factory that produces medicines for us here. It is the plants. And for us, this is a unique endowment that has been given to us as human beings, which we have failed to utilize effectively. Some of us are doing it better than the others. And in this context, I believe you are doing it better than us. You have developed this institution looking at natural herbal medicines. You have the Ayurvedic medicine, you have yoga. These are all natural ways of living in harmony with nature. We have the same biodiversity. How do we harness that biodiversity to benefit us as human beings? That is the reason why we have come to you. We have come to you to learn from you, to learn with you, so that together we are able to develop and benefit ourselves from this biodiversity that we have. That we have come at a time when we are going to launch the other academic programs, the master's program, and I'm told later on the bachelor's programs. This you have seen that you require to build capacity. You have the tools, the plans are there. You have the PhD holders who are going to be the trainers. They're going to be mentors to these young students that you're going to bring on board. You have all the tools. We have come to see how you develop these tools. We have been taught that the best medicines are the Western medicines. So when you come to our hospitals, we are practicing Western medicine. And everybody around us in the community uses natural medicine. Everybody uses herbal medicine. When I was a kid, my mother gave me herbs for coughs, for flus, for stomach pain, and so on. I trained and became a doctor and forgot about them. And now I'm beginning to realize there is a lot that we can do with these natural products that is abundant around us. It is wrong for us to forget it. It is very crucial that we take advantage and utilize this common heritage that we have as human beings. We are grateful, we are honored to be here today. We thank you for hosting us, and we believe that at the end of the week, when we shall be going back to our country, we are not going back empty-handed. Our bags will be full of promises, full of interest from you and from us, that we shall take home and see how within a short time we can actualize this and make it not only partnerships, but real collaborations. Collaborations in terms of sharing the resources we have, collaboration in terms of sharing the knowledge base that we have, and the academics that are fueling and putting together this knowledge base. I could go on and talk a lot. I bring you greetings from Uganda, and particularly from the community of Mbarara University of Science and Technology. I thank you, and I hope that the signing today will not only be a one-off event, it will be the start of a long journey that we are going to go with together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Obua, for all that love and greetings from Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, let us now move on to the most strategic part of our program today, the signing of two very important memoranda of understanding. The first one is perhaps a very unique one, not only for India, but globally. Our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Pishupati, who have had several years of experience working with the executive and judiciary in many countries, have worked hard to find an uncommon partnership to bring together the Ministry of Environment, Forests and Climate Change of the Government of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia and the University of Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to sign an MOU with TDU. The tripartite MOU will provide an opportunity for TDU to work on a range of research and academic issues, including on governance and diplomacy in the Africa region, wherein several activities are being planned. The first set of actions relating to launching a negotiators training program for the Africa region in collaboration with the African Union and UN Environment that is scheduled between 1st to 6th of October 2017. As a part of MOU, TDU is positioning itself for the exchange of students and scholars in the region. May I now request the Vice Chancellor, Dr. Pishupati, to sign the MOU on behalf of TDU and request Padma Shri Darshan Shankar to sign the witness from TDU.
I'd just like to recognize at this moment, Bala spoke about the federated concept of the university. So I'd just like to recognize our very, credible, respected partners who are present here. So TDU, while it functions with the programs that it does from here, we have here present today the director of Shrishti School of Design, Dr. Geeta Narayan. We have Mukund from the National Center for Biological Sciences, which is a part of the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. We have Karthik, who's here, who's the director of the Ashoka Trust for Environment and Ecology. We have Prakash Belwadi from Suchitra School of Cinema. So this is the sort of ecosystem that we have as part of TDU. So I just wanted to recognize these very valuable partners that we have. Thank you.
We are also honored to have been invited by the Mbarara University of Science and Technology, Uganda, to collaborate in establishing the Farm Biotechnology and Traditional Medicine Center called Farm Biotrack as a part of the Eastern and Southern Africa Education Centers of Excellence project hosted by Mbarara University of Science and Technology. We are honored by the presence of Vice Chancellor Professor Celestino Obua and his senior colleagues among us today to sign the MOU, as well as identify specific areas of collaboration between TDU and the university in areas of mutual interest in addition to the establishment of Farm Biotrack. May I request Professor Obua and Dr. Pishupati to sign the MOU. We also invite Dr. Lawrence to sign the MOU. Thank you, everyone. This brings us to the end of our session. We are pleased to present the dignitaries with a memento. We are very excited to have with us Shri Jairam Ramesh, and we realize that it is an opportunity for every youngster to be inspired by the wealth of his experience and wisdom. I'm sure you have a lot of questions for our chief guest, and we request all the students and the research fellows to move on to the adjacent room for that much awaited interactive session with Shri Jairam Ramesh. We also encourage the parents and other guests to enjoy the beautiful TDU campus and further proceed for lunch, which is served at the Vyasa block. Now I request everyone to stand up for the national anthem, and I request everyone to sing along.